All right. On this video, we're going to focus on squares and cubes and the different scenarios that we find mathematically under squares and cubes. So let's begin. So what does it mean when we say squares? If we are to be given a number 2, and then they say that they want us to square this number 2, what it simply means is 2 multiplied by 2. This is to square. So if we've got these 2 and we write it like this, we have squared. Also, remember on the previous video, I taught you about what? I taught you about exponents and what? How to use the exponents. So if we've got this number 2, this is expanded notation. If we are to write it in exponential form, we will be now writing, how many 2's do we have? We are multiplying number 2, and it is multiplying itself 2 times. So it becomes 2 to the power of 2. This is what we call squares, right? Let's try another number. If we try number 3, what does it mean? If they're saying square, it simply means 3 multiplied by 3. And if we write it in exponential form, we now write it as 3 to the power 2, right? So these are squares. Now, let's try a different scenario. Why? We don't always work with what? We don't always work with positive numbers. So what are we going to do? We are now going to deal with a scenario whereby you are given a number which is -3 and it's inside the brackets. What do we mean? We are now going to square it, and we say -3 multiplied by -3. We've been given this number in brackets, we must multiply it in brackets, and in exponential form we still keep the brackets and we write to the power 2. Let's explore another way, a different number. What if we are given -3 and they say square it? We now write, but this -3 does not have brackets, unlike the first one. Now we say -3 multiplied by -3. That's what we have. Oh, did we write it correctly? Who knows? We will see. Then we come here and we write -3 squared, right? So this is what we have here. Now, what do we need to do? The next thing that we are going to do now, we are going to explore what are the type of answers that we get. The type of answers that we get. And I'm going to fetch my calculator so that we use a calculator to find the values of these numbers that have been squared. So we start with 2. We say 2 by 2. Then we are going to be using the exponents to find our answers. So if I come here and I say 2 to the power 2, what do we get? The answer is 4. So we write that our answer is 4. Then we go to the next one, which is 3 to the power 2. 3 to the power 2 here, it is equal to what? It is equal to 9. So we write 9 as our answer. Then we now go to -3 squared, which is inside the brackets. All right, we open the bracket. We type in our -3, we close the bracket and we say squared. What is the answer that we get? We get 9. Then we write 9. Now, we're going to our number, which is -3 squared. Okay, but without the brackets. -3 squared. What is the answer? We got -9. Then, the question arises, how come we have got -3 here, which is inside the brackets? We got a positive 9. However, we have got a -3, which does not have brackets, and we got a -9. Why did we get different answers? Remember, positive 9 and negative 9 on a number line, they are not on the same position. Negative 9 is on the left side of the number line. We have got our neutral number, which is 0, and then we have got positive 9 on the other side, right? So negative 9 is located here, positive 9 is located there. So they are not identical numbers. Now, let's explore. This is the reason why I brought a calculator, so that you can understand the calculation of this negative 3. What I wrote here in expanded notation, when you are given this negative 3, what I wrote here, it was what? It was incorrect. This negative 3 and negative 3. Because if I had said negative 3 multiplied by negative 3, we have already dealt with what? With signs. We would have said negative times negative, it would give us a positive, and 3 times 3, it would give us positive 9, which would have been the same answer as this one. So, what are we going to do? We are now going to explore what does it mean when they've got this negative 3 squared. What it means is this. The negative part is an invisible one. So there is an invisible one, right? That's what's involved here. Then the 3 squared is positive. So we now say positive 3 multiplied by positive 3. You understand? Now, let's go through it. If I'm to come here and I say this negative sign multiplied by the positive, I get a negative sign. And this negative sign multiplied by a positive, what do I get? I still get a negative sign. Now, when I say 1 times 3, I get 3. And 3 multiplied by 3, I get 9. That is how we got this negative 9. So, here, we could not write this negative 3 times negative 3. This was totally incorrect. What was being squared? What was being squared were the positive 3's. But before these positive 3's, there was a negative 1. So it was negative 1 multiplied by positive 3 multiplied by positive 3, which gave us this negative 9. I hope that makes sense. So that in the future, whenever you encounter and then a number that does not have, what do you call this thing, which does not have brackets, it's a negative number, please, you must know that there is an invisible negative 1. Now, to ensure that you fully understand, let's explore another one. So let's use number negative 5 without the brackets. Negative 5. And we're asked to square it. What do? We first write an invisible negative 1. Then we multiply 5, and this 5 multiply by 5. This is the part which is squaring. Then when we write it as what? Negative 5, like this squared. And if we come here and we say 5 multiplied by 5, these are positive. A positive multiplied by a positive, it gives you a positive sign. And a positive sign multiplied by a negative sign, it gives you a negative sign. So which means our answer includes a negative sign. And 5 times 5 is 25. 25 by 1, it's 25. So our final answer is negative 25. So I do hope that this makes sense and you won't have any confusion in an examination. Now, the last type of numbers that we're going to deal with are what we call fractions. So imagine that we are given a fraction of 3 over 4. What does this mean? It simply means that 3 over 4 multiplied by 3 over 4. And if we are to write it, we would then open a bracket and say 3 over 4, close bracket, squared, like this. Then from there, if we go to our calculator, what do we get? We write 3 over 4. I forgot to start with the bracket. We open the bracket. We close the bracket, then we write our squared, which gives us 9 over 16. 9 over 16. If we're dealing with manual calculations, how did we get this? How did the calculator get this 9 over 16? It said numerator multiplied by numerator and denominator multiplied by denominator. Your 3 multiplied by 3, it gives you 9, and your 4 multiplied by 4, it gives you 16, right? Simple and straightforward. Now, under the exponential function exponential form, 3 over 4. We are still to learn about what in this chapter? We're still to learn about what are called laws of exponents. And under laws of exponents, we've got law number 3 and law number 4, where we will explore these questions, right? To say, how do we deal with this if we're using an exponent to calculate? So please do watch the upcoming episodes so that you may learn more. Thank you very much.